Hey, good evening, everybody. Bruce Forster, I'm your host. Jetski Republic chewing the fat. How was everybody this week? Sorry about last week. Obviously, state of origin. For those of you overseas who don't know what state of origin is, it is a bit of a religion here. It's one of the biggest sporting events in Australia. Tri series rugby league game between New South Wales and Queensland, and the mighty Queensland pulled it off against the odds. So yeah, great victory, and it was, hate to say it, but it was worth skipping last week's show in order to enjoy the game. So yeah, it was great fun. Adrian's wet. Whereabout are you, mate? It's getting wet here actually. We're starting to get a bit of rain here now. So listen, tonight's show I've got Dave Vennell on, who's the president of Jetski Racing New Zealand Incorporated. I'll get him on in the next couple of minutes. We'll just get him dialed in. He's Hamilton. Wow. Okay, we got some of our viewers are in from New Zealand tonight. So good evening, all. And I know it's a bit later there. It's the back of 9 o'clock there. So yeah. So let's get Dave sorted out, and we'll get him on, and we'll just crack on with the show. Let me just get this dialed up. I hope you're ready, Dave. After we finish with Dave, we're going to have. I'm just going to do a quick catch up, a quick check in on the events. We've got a couple of riders overseas at the moment, so I'm just going to have a quick check in with them. Let's fingers crossed we can get Dave on here. We'll see how it goes. So, calling him. So, I hope he's ready. He's probably forgotten the time. Oh,
Yep, I'm here.
Dave, good evening, mate. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Good evening from New Zealand.
I think we've got half of New Zealand tuned in tonight.
Jet ski racing is really popular over here, eh?
So I can tell. I think pretty much I've got what, 4 different people here, and I would say they're probably all from New Zealand. Good evening, all. So how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Sitting here in the rain. It's absolutely bucketing down.
And it'll be a little bit colder as well.
No, it's tropical over here.
Mate, it's New
17
Zealand.
degrees.
Now, from my point of view, that makes sense. That is tropical. That's tops off weather from where I come from.
What? Yeah, no, it was 17 degrees some stage during the day. It's not quite that warm now, but yeah.
You're standing outside with a blowtorch.
No, I got the heater going in the corner.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of bad weather here in Queensland at the moment, so the rain's starting to hit over the weekend. So yeah, I had a couple of things planned for the weekend, but they've been canned now because of the weather closing in. But hey, listen, thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming on. To be honest, over the weekend I really didn't have a clue what I was going to be doing for this week's show. I had a mountain of ideas in my head about what I was going to do, and then I thought, well, you know what? I haven't touched base with anyone in New Zealand, and I know that you guys have got your event coming up this weekend, so I thought,
Yep.
let's drop a message to Dave and see how see what he's up to. So really appreciate your time. So first of all,
Yep. Right.
tell us about yourself.
I'm just a silly old bugger that thinks he can still ride a jet ski fast.
How did you get into it? How did you get into it all?
Went along and had a look and sort of got roped in. Had to go on a ski. Didn't know which way I was going. I think I went around the course the wrong way, and at one stage ended up was going at the current president head on. And yeah, it wasn't the flashiest, but I got past all that, and I had a big off on the first meet, and didn't kill myself, so I decided, hey, this is quite good, and I've just kept going.
it seems to be the thing with everyone that gets involved. Like when I first started over 8 years ago, nearly 9 years ago, I was introduced to it by a friend who said, "Here, have a go at it," and I just no, it's okay, I don't want to do it. And then eventually he took me out one day, and I thought, right, okay, get him off my back, I'll go out. So I went out, and then he gave me a crack at it, and I was like, wow, okay, fair enough, I'm converted. It's definitely a bug.
Most people that try it once, they come back.
Yep.
They get the bug, and yeah.
I've never raced myself. I've only really just taken an interest in it lately. I've got a few of my friends that race. We've got I've got a few people here that are involved in it on all sides, whether it be the committee in Queensland or the racing, and I've also a couple of friends who involved in the rescue side of it as well. So
yeah,
I never really paid much attention to it. I was more of a rec rider, but then the last 12 months or so, I've kind of got a bit more of an interest because some of my friends are getting a bit more involved in it. So I thought, well, let's go up and support them and give them a bit of support. So that's how I kind of got into it. And then obviously it's taken off a hell of a lot more since I've started this podcast. So I'm just wanting to reach out to everybody, including you guys as well. And I see that you guys have a number of events on the go. So it's good to reach out to you guys to see what you're up to. So that's the whole idea of what we're doing here, is just reaching out to everyone and anyone. So what exactly is your role in jet skiing in New Zealand then?
Well, I'm the president of Jetski Racing New Zealand at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a good core group of 10 on the committee that we organise events under the UIM banner. And, well, with COVID, we've had a big struggle over the last 2 years trying to keep events going, trying to get enough people to go to events.
Yep.
People got a little bit ticked off with booking into an event, registering, and then we'd get cancelled because of COVID.
Yep.
And that's just been a fact of life. So now it's gently put the events up there and encourage people to come along. Once they see one or two events that have actually gone ahead and run successfully, the numbers will start building back up again. We had a good event at Anzac weekend in Taupo. Yep. We had 30-odd riders there, pole skis and runabouts. And everybody had a ball in the rough weather.
I was going to say, I saw some of the footage of that when I looked a bit gnarly there.
Well, it was a bit, but in New Zealand, it's we run the winter series, and I believe you guys over there, you just shut everything down because it's too cold to race.
Listen, there was meant to be more races up in Queensland. I know that, but we had the bad floods and all the shit and debris that ended up in the water out there. There was no way they were going to be able to do it. Like, seriously, there was massive big tree logs and stuff up at the venue where they race, and there was no way. And then one of the mornings I went to go up to one of the last races of the season in the winter series, and it had been cancelled, but it had only been cancelled like an hour before it was even due to start. Well, I was already driving up, so I had no idea until I got there. And it's like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems to be the least little thing, and it gets cancelled up here. And I know there's a duty of care.
There's nothing when you're organising an event. Sorry, I'm running out of power here.
You're good.
When you're organising events, there's nothing you can do about the weather.
Yeah.
Oh, I've lost you. Hang on. I'll just click on that again, back again. Oh, hang on. I don't know what I've done.
I can still hear you, and everybody can still see you.
Okay.
So
yeah, I've lost you.
That's right. Yeah, you've lost the video somehow on your screen, but everybody can still see you. I'm assuming no one's commenting, so you're still there, and I can still see you, and hear you. So yeah, it's a dilemma. It's a dilemma for every organizer to try and get the races off the ground and give everybody what they want. But by the flip side, you've still got to balance up, well, what's in the best interests of everybody, especially from a safety perspective. You can go a bit overkill with it sometimes, though. That's the problem. And like most people, when you get into any kind of sports, whether it be, full action or whatever, there is an inherent risk. involved taking up a sport. Injuries happen, but I gather, it's understandable that with jet ski racing, that risk is much, much higher. So, what's happened to my GoPro's gone? 2 seconds.
I think I'm just about back again now.
Yeah, my GoPro's gone.
Yeah, as you say, it's a very fine balancing act, and I don't think we've actually had to cancel an event yet. There's no doubt there's going to come a time where we do have to. The weather will just get too bad, but we've left it pretty much up to the riders and the race director on the day as to whether we continue. I think Taupo at Anzac weekend got a bit sketchy on the last day, and we cancelled the last round of the enduro part of it.
Yeah.
But everybody had a ball. We had no serious injuries, and no injuries at all, really.
Yep. Guys, anybody that's tuning in at the moment, my apologies, but we've got a bit of a video issue at the moment. Dave has obviously been lost for some reason. I don't know what's happened there. And my GoPro's gone down as well, so I don't know. I'm trying to get it back up on my side. So bear with us. Dave, we can still talk. I think people can still hear us. So we'll go old school.
I'm clicking on buttons here, but it's not working.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you give old people technology.
Yeah, volume's still... Yeah, Charlie, I get that. Volume can still be good. So we're all good with the volume. It just seems to be this video aspect of it. It's all gone. It's gone on your side, Dave, and mine. Don't worry about it.
No.
I'll try and get it back as much as I can here and see where we're at. Yeah, for some reason I can't get my GoPro up. Usually it goes up and on, no problem. Okay, not to worry.
Anyway, there's still enough time for people to get on a plane from Australia and come over and race at the weekend, and we'll find some skis for them to ride.
Hey, listen, I'm pretty sure there'll be a few people would probably try it. I think Matt down in New South Wales, I can't remember his second name. He was talking about maybe coming over, but I don't know if he is. I think he was
spent
talking
all his time trying to get someone in Rotorua to buy him a ski.
Adrian, it's actually hardwired. It's not actually a battery that's in it. I used to use the battery in it, but it kept overheating with the way it plugged in. Sorry, someone's telling me how to take the battery out of the GoPro to try and get it working again, but I'll get it on. It's hardwired, so it's direct powered, so I don't know why it's went off. So it's usually working fine.
Mine disappeared when I plugged the power in. Yeah,
you were fine until you plugged the power in.
Yeah.
You must have caused a short circuit in the whole thing, including mine. Nah, I'm kidding. Yeah, so how's the race event looking for the weekend?
It's going to be relatively small. I think we might be pushing 10 pre-entries, and we'd expect 20 odd people on the day. We're hoping for. We always get roll-ups on the day. People they leave it till the last minute, depending on weather and what else is happening in their life and the price of gas and et cetera, and gas is a big consideration at the moment. It's huge.
It is, and it's no sign of easing off any either. So, I'm back. Woohoo!
Yeah, you're back.
So I'm back. So I'm good. So it's all on your side now, mate.
And I'll keep my heat. Yeah. It's not working, Nah. Go back to that.
So what I've done is I've just put up the poster for the event. Guys, if anybody's looking to join up to this and enter at the last minute, and like Dave said, he's willing to try and find some skis for some people that want to take the flight over, and jump into to a race on the weekend. What would be the best way, Dave? Just go through the Facebook page, or contact yourself, or
the best thing people can do is just go on the website or the Facebook page.
Yep.
Fill in an online entry so that we know that you're coming to start with. And I'm serious. If someone really needed a ski, I got a Spark with a tune on it that you could go and race for half an hour at a time. Even in the rough water, it's good fun.
It'll be cold.
My son-in-law took it from the South Island across to the North Island and back to the South Island in a day. He couldn't walk for a week afterwards, but yeah.
How long did that take him?
Well, no, there was a group of us did it.
Right.
I think it was 2 or 3 hours each way.
2-3 hours each way, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember. I don't know if you remember this one. It was one of my countrymen. I think it was about 2 years ago. Rode a Spark from Scotland to the Isle of Man, and what would have normally taken him about probably 45 minutes, he ended up to 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours on a jet ski. Listen, I made contact with him. I've been trying to get him on here to talk about it. He did it all for love, because he met a girl on the Isle of Man and he wanted to see her again. But I think that relationship's soured now, and I think he just kind of wants to forget about it all. But I've been trying to get him back on. His mates keep winding him up about it, and I thought, how did it take you so long, Dale? And he says to me, he says, I've never ridden a jet ski before in my life. And I said, and you take the chance to go across the Irish Sea. That's like going across the Pacific Ocean. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. But he said that. He said the same thing. He says, my arse was killing me afterwards.
Yeah, it actually made the news here too. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember it went global because I think all the jet ski communities were carrying the stories. So, like, I tried to get him initially to go on. Before I started doing this podcast, I tried to get him. I had him lined up for Bobby Cardone's show. But then when I tried to line it up and get him on, it was just a bit of a problem because Bobby was trying to get me on as well. I think Bobby wanted a translator. I don't know. But yeah, it didn't really work out. And then obviously when I started mine, my podcast, it was just like, he just like, Bruce, I just want to forget about it all. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So yeah, that was funny. But it took him a while to sell that one afterwards. He couldn't get anybody to buy it for quite a long time. But anyway, we're going off topic anyway. Let's talk about your, so race-wise, are these all enduro races, I take it? Winter Enduro Series it is. I'm sorry, I've just noticed that. Yep. Now, let's, I've got the map here. I've got the course. Man, this is insane. What, did I read this right? That the boys, the markers are, is it nearly 2 kilometers from the shore? Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. You've got the two outer ones there. Yeah, 1.82 kilometers out from the shore, 600 meters apart. You got 14 boys to go around in total. So yeah, a big long drag out, big long drag back.
Definitely.
Some ziggy shit in front of the crowd, and then back out again.
Give the excitement to the crowd, and then off into the distance and do the easier stuff. That would be like. I hope it's not too. What's the weather looking like for the weekend?
Who knows? The weatherman lies every day. So I mean, you wake up in the morning and you look outside, and it is what it is.
Very true, very true. Like, we get told it's going to be X, Y, and Z, and it ends up being totally different. Yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah. Listen, that's pretty insane. So, out of that event that you have, what are the classifications you've got in that? Is it just an open series for everyone, no matter what ski you're racing? Are you riding, or what is it? Is it different classes?
Yeah, there's 4 different classes. There's the UIM GP 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 being the Spark and the Yamaha EX. And then you've got GP3, which is what I ride as the naturally aspirated skis, Yamaha Sea-Doo mainly. I don't even know if I don't think we've got any Kawasaki 15Fs running. And then you've got the GP2, which is the 300s that aren't modified or minimum modifications. And then GP1, which is whatever.
Whatever rolls up, whatever turns up.
Yeah, and whatever people think they can make last 30 minutes plus a lap being the longest race. And some of them with the big skis, they're going to struggle gas-wise.
Definitely. Hey, listen, I wouldn't fancy getting caught away out on the faraway buoy, and I've not got any fuel in my ski. So
If it's a Sea-Doo, we'll go get him. If it's a Yamaha, we'll leave him out there.
as if it,
I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't say that. We've got marshals all around the course. If anybody runs out of anything, that they'll be looked after. We'll bring them back.
yeah. Do you have any Kawasaki's by any chance, or are they a myth in New Zealand?
No, I actually think there is a Kawasaki entered. I think
Right.
there's a few of them around here still, but not many.
Yep. I was just wondering if it was kind of like the Loch Ness Monster, where it's just kind of a very rare sighting of it. From now and again, you just get the odd Kawasaki just appearing, and everybody goes mad when they see it. Well, maybe not mad, but
Yeah, I must admit it'd be interesting to get hold of one of the new ones and have a ride of that. They
listen,
they look like a good ski.
I was watching. I don't know if you've seen the video that Jamie Aries put up from Brisbane Kawasaki. He tested one the other day, and he put up a video of it. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. I don't know if you've seen it, Dave. If you haven't, I'll send you the link.
No, I haven't seen the video. I've seen a couple of shots of the ski on Watercraft Journal and that sort of thing. But
yeah. Well, Jamie's got it out on the water. He got one, and he's taken it out on the water down in Jacob's Well, which is like South Brisbane, northern between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. He took it out there and he tested it out a little bit. He did a bit of a running commentary on it. Listen, Kawasaki's is his business. It's his bread and butter. He's pretty impressed by it. And I must admit, it did sound and look pretty keen, pretty good. Even in the neutral and the reverse, was pretty good. So I'll send you the link through, and you can have a look at it and see what you think. So really,
Yeah,
I think you'll be quite impressed.
the proof is in the writing.
Hey, listen, it's the same hull, and I don't believe there's any upgrade on the engine, but all the little mods and cons. But you know what? For me, the biggest thing is that bloody lever. That reverse lever's gone, and now it's on the trigger with like all the other skis are, and it's about bloody time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I must admit, I like my Sea-Doos and I like it. I like the IBR. Can't beat it.
Well, he used a braking system on it, on the Kawasaki, the new Kawasaki, and it was pretty quick, and it brought him to a standstill pretty quick, without throwing him forward. So, yeah, you'll see the video when I send it through to you, so you can have a look at it. But yeah, interesting. Interesting. It's the same hull though, and they haven't changed it. But then it was a decent hull anyway, so it'll probably do some damage in the offshore racing. Some good.
It's been a long time since anyone's ridden a Kawasaki in anger here, I think.
Yeah. I think Jamie here in Queensland is, and I think probably one or two others are about the only ones that are racing Kawasaki's. The rest, it's all Yamahas and it's all Yamahas and Sea-Doos especially the new RXPX.
Yeah, so, I'm getting too old to hang on to something that quick.
You want a pedalo, that's what you're needing.
Eh?
You want a pedalo. You know those little pedalos you just sit on and you pedal away. And you just like.
No. I enjoy racing. I race in two classes. I race a Spark and a 170.
Yep.
So summer series is pretty busy when you're racing two classes in one day. Sometimes 4 to 6 races in each.
And you're trying to organise as well.
I got a good pit crew. You just sit there and you just click your fingers and the ski's brought to the start line. You get on it and you go. You come back and you give it to someone else to look after.
Oh, Dave, Jamie Martin's indicating something that you like to fly off your ski. How true is that?
It's only happened a couple of times.
That's Jamie. Do we have pictures?
Yeah.
Jamie, you'll have to get some pictures, otherwise it never happened.
There are no pictures.
So how do you see the series going? The whole winter series, how do you see it going?
I think we'll get through this weekend, and then we'll get more numbers the following. I think it's about 5 or 6 weeks later in Ori, where it's a surf round.
Yep.
We'll get more numbers because it's close to Auckland.
Yep.
And then hopefully we can have a third round as well later in end of October, beginning of November, which will be probably back in Taupo. So yeah, it's going to be a good series. I mean, everyone's hanging out for racing. We've only had 3 events, I think, in the last 12 months
Yep.
that we've actually got off the ground and got going. People want to race. We've just got to put the races in front of them, give them the opportunity to come and have a crack at it. Yep. Invite their friends, and yeah, I think it'll be good. It'll be good for everybody that enjoys jet skiing.
Yep. And how long
even the ones that don't want to race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been trying to say to everyone, get along, give it a go. If the racing itself's not for you, come along and help out and hold, even if you're just holding a ski or something, just to help all the teams and that out and the organisers. So I've always been trying to encourage people to get along and just watch it, just for the enjoyment of it and the spectacle of it. And if they take it further, then that's up to them. And even if we get 1 or 2 into racing that would have otherwise never done it, then job done. So that's the way I look at it.
We've been running rookie races where someone that's sometimes we've had people there that have never ridden a jet ski or hardly. They come along and we give them a race in a controlled environment, that we don't just chuck them in amongst everybody else and put a high vis on them and say, keep out of the way. We try, and sometimes it's like herding cats. Yep. When you're trying to get people to figure out a course, but there's a few of them that have stuck around and they've got used to it, and some of them are quite good
Dave,
too.
You'll be surprised how many people that have been racing for a few, they've had a couple of races under their belt, and they still get the course wrong. When it comes to round 3 or 4 or 5, and they're still getting the course wrong, they're going the wrong side of the buoy or whatever, So yeah, it happens. Like people, I guess in the heat of the moment, your brain just, you think you're going a certain way, and then obviously you're not going that way, and then suddenly you get red flagged and told you're need to start again. So we had that in the state championships. So-called experienced riders, and a couple of them got caught out and ended up having to restart the race. So
Donna Marie, one of our race directors one day had the cheek to give me a black flag. Well, what the hell?
Could you not sack him? Can you not sack him for that? No, being the president.
No, I wasn't president then. Oh. I couldn't.
Damn. Donna Marie, she's made a couple of comments. She says, Dave bounces well in mid-air collision. Is that true?
I'm just going to ignore that.
You can take that up with Donna later. Yes, Donna, marshals do need people to come and help them as well. And women, you need some women in sport as well, so definitely. They are part of the future as well. Most definite. Jamie Martin's come on and says, Donna Marie, look at us. Is that your family, by the way?
Yeah, it is. It is. I have to. Do I have to own up to that?
Well, they've commented on it and said that his family, and they're calling you out. They are shameful, but probably merited.
Yeah. They obviously think there's a degree of anonymity or whatever that I don't know.
Listen, it's all good and well when you've got the keyboard in front of you, but when you see them face to face, they won't talk to you like that face to face, mate.
No, they won't. I can't. Yeah, I can't see them at the moment. So
no, you won't. Yeah, they'll tell you all about it, or they'll be messaging you later on.
Yeah. So going back to the winter series, I think, everyone's it's looking like it has the potential to be a real good series. And at the end of the day, we have some good trophies up for grabs, and it'll be a good lead into the summer series. We're planning on having a like a winter or summer fun day at the end of November, beginning of December, just to sort of ease everyone into the summer series, and a pre-Christmas event. So the winter series is a good way to knock some rust off, keep the skis active.
Yep.
And
just
keep a little.
So all going well, you're hoping for what, three races, 3 events in the winter series, and then what you're looking at for the summer series? Any idea?
At this stage, probably 5 rounds, I think.
Yep.
And that'll go through from like a family day in December to probably a first round in January and end up sometime in April.
Yep. Being
the final. So it's starting to get a bit willing with the weather. By the time we get to April, we get to Anzac weekend, as Kinloch has proved for us a couple of years in a row now. Yeah.
Well, it certainly sounds like a promising series of races that are coming up. So, fingers crossed all the weather gods stay at bay for you.
I mean, we need good weather, and we need some regular ferry crossings so we can get more people up from the South Island as well. And we need a few more people to come along, have a look, and get tempted and come and have a try themselves.
Like honestly, Dave, I think there are a few from Australia that would like to come over, but I think in their minds they believe, because they immediately think, well, I can't afford to ship my ski over, but I'd love to go and give it a go, but they don't know what to do, who to contact as far as how can I get a hold of a ski that I can use, and who's willing to actually give me a ski to use it as well. So otherwise, I think you'd have an absolute bucket load of Aussies coming over to race in your series.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all they got to do is get hold of us, and we'll see what they want to ride and see what we can rustle up. I'm sure we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could come up with some skis.
Yep.
It'd be some good battles.
So there you go, Aussie riders. If you want to go over to New Zealand and do some racing, get on to Dave and see what Dave can fix up for you, and see where it leads to. So don't let the barriers hold you back. Just ask the question, and if it's a yes, it's a yes. If it's a no, it's a no. All right. So, hey, listen. What else? You're obviously not just a racer. You do a bit of wreck riding at all?
Yeah, we do a lot of wreck riding. From circumnavigations of Lake Taupo to winter rides up flooded rivers, having to use chainsaws to cut through log dams to keep going, and rolling 5 skis in a row in sets of rapids. Tripped around the Hauraki Gulf. We went across to Coromandel a couple of weeks ago. There was half a dozen of us just went for a ride on a Sunday.
Okay.
It was a beautiful day. Yeah, people just don't realise how nice it can be.
Yep.
So,
listen, I've only been to New Zealand once, and I took the Queenstown option as my first trip over. Fell in love with the whole area, not just Queenstown, but the whole area. I definitely want to explore a bit more of it. So hopefully through time we can make the effort and get over there and see a bit more. The funny thing is, Dave, I've got relatives over there as well. I've got cousins over there in Auckland, and I've got them in Rotorua as well. So I'm needing to get my arse over there definitely to see them and take the opportunity to see the country. Beautiful country, what I've seen.
Yeah, there's some beautiful lakes around Rotorua, and there's no shortage of people that'd be more than willing to arrange a ski and go for rides. Waikato River, Rotorua, Taupo, all over the place.
Cool. All right.
And of course, in Auckland.
Listen, before I'm going to let you go just now, but before you go, I always give our guests the platform here to shout out to everyone, sponsors, friends, family. If you're needing to make a late plug on the race events, then go ahead and do it. I always let our guests have that platform before they head off. So Dave, the floor is yours if you want to shout out to whoever you want to shout out to. On you go, mate.
Okay, the first thing that I suppose, the people that I have to thank the most is Jetski Racing New Zealand and the committee. Without all the personnel on the committee, we wouldn't have a club, we wouldn't have races. There's a couple of people in particular that have been around longer than all the rest of us combined, John Wright and Diane Daly, who they are jet ski racing in New Zealand. Well, they're jet ski racing as far as we're concerned. They're sort of handing over the reins a little bit to other people, and we're trying to carry on and drag it forward into the future as well. But the whole committee scenario, if it wasn't for the people on the committee, there wouldn't be events that people can just rock up to, pay a few bucks, and then go and enjoy the rest of the day. There's a lot of work goes on in the background that most people don't even know what goes into it. And,
exactly. Unless you've been involved in a committee or organising a team or an event or whatever, and get to see what happens in the background, people just don't appreciate the amount of effort that gets done behind the scenes to get things done. To pull off these events. So, yeah, I totally get that, Dave, and yeah, definitely. So, anyone else you need to have a shout out?
Yeah, we've had some awesome support from the jet ski dealers, from Action Sport Direct and Tauranga and North Shore, Family Boats here in Auckland, Woodbine Marine, Farnley's, Yamaha in Auckland and in Christchurch.
Yep.
It just, the whole, people come and people go, but the jet skiing retailers, a lot of times they've been the saviour of Jet Ski Racing New Zealand and also the NZJSBA as well. None of us could survive on our own just on entry fees. We all need support, sponsorship, help with events and prizes and everything. And just the whole jet skiing community in general it's like a big family, and families have spats, but at the end of the day, you're still a like-minded group of people that enjoy the same thing.
Yeah, and I've always said that as well. Like, if you've got a group of people that are together, you're always going to have difference of opinions. Not everyone's going to get along, but at the end of the day, you are all there for the same purpose, and that's to just kind of push forward for the better, to better things. And if people don't question certain things, then if everybody just went along with all the decisions that were made instead of questioning them, then it wouldn't necessarily be a better outcome. You need people to question things sometimes, but you've just got to be mindful how you question them. So
Yep.
Plus, we're dealing with people here like yourself who put in a lot of voluntary time. It's not like you're getting paid for it. So
yeah. It'd be good if we could turn it into a paying job. It'd be awesome.
There's certainly not a lot of money in it. That's the thing. But if you can make a living out of it, great. But there's not a lot. There's not a lot of people able to do that.
No, indeed. But hey, it's all good fun, and you meet some awesome people along the way, and you sit there, and there's times you can sit there and watch people grow, especially the young ones. You watch them mature, and then they get more responsible in their riding and in their life, and it's quite cool.
Yeah, it is, definitely. So anything else before you want to go? Before you go, Dave? Anything else you need to shout out about, or?
I should shout out to my long-suffering wife who puts up with my disappearing for weekends and jet skiing and yeah.
Mate, have you never thought she could be happy to see the back of you?
I'm sure she is. Yeah. Yeah.
Dave, I really appreciate your time, and I hope your event this weekend goes, absolutely fantastic for you. I hope everybody enjoys the racing, and you have a great day, a great day's event.
Thank you very much, and then hopefully we'll catch up again soon. And in the meantime, I'll try and figure out why my video's not working.
And listen, once you've had your event at the weekend, I'll put the results back. I'll go over the results next week's show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully, I managed to finish and end up on a score sheet somewhere.
We'll figure it out. We'll work it out somehow.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
Dave, if I can manage technical stuff, I'm pretty sure anybody could. All right, guy. All right, Dave. All the
All right,
best.
cheers. Thank you.
All the best.
Okay.
Take care. All right. Thank you. So there we go. Dave Vennell, President of the Jetski Racing New Zealand. And yeah, they got their Enduro event, Winter Series, first round this weekend. Lake Rotorua, Holden's Bay. As he said already, if you're interested in getting over there and you're here in Australia, get in touch with him quick and see if he can help you out with a ski. Hey, you never know. It could be a couple of Aussies just winging their way there this weekend, just at the last minute. So that'd be nice to see, and I'm sure they'll welcome you with open arms. So, Dave, thanks again for coming on. Really appreciate your time and flying the flag for New Zealand racing. Cool. Okay, so we'll move on from there. We've got some. Give me a second. Get out of the way. All right, now we got a couple of Aussies who are way overseas at the moment. Been racing. We've got Guy Greenland, who was racing in the PX Aqua Series. He's just came back from the US. I'm hoping to try and get him on in the next couple of weeks and have a chat with him about how his series of races have been for him. So at the moment, though, we've still got Bailey Cunningham, 81 Racing. 8-1 Racing, sorry, over in the US at the moment. He was in Kansas, Clinton Lakes at an event over there. He was racing the ski amateur lights at the weekend on the Saturday and the Sunday, and that's his second race. That's his Saturday race. He actually came first on the Saturday because he got a 1 and a 3 in both these races on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday, you can see there he got a 3rd and a 2nd in the Sunday's event. The 2 races that he had there. Overall for the weekend, he ended up with a 2nd place. So Bailey, well done, mate. That's awesome effort. Having spoke to Tralee earlier on, he's pretty happy about it, and they're obviously happy about it as well. It's still a learning curve for him. He's going to get better, but it's a massive learning experience for him. He's acknowledged that, and he's going to come back a better racer and hopefully pass on that knowledge to everyone else. So, all the best, Bailey. I know you've got a lot of racing still left to do while you're out there, but everybody's willing you nothing but the best. So let's go. Who else we got? We have Kaylee Elmers. Can you guys see that okay? She just recently went out to Poland, out to Europe at the weekend. Last week, I think it was, she went out there. I spoke to her very briefly the other day. She was in Germany and she was on her way up to Poland, driving up, I believe, from Germany, and she's got the World Grand Prix, the World Series starts this weekend, round 1. As you can see, she's in the Pro-Am Endurance Open event. This whole event is just insane, and like Bobby Cardone had it on his show yesterday morning, and the lineup for many of the events is, it's just a massive amount of riders. It's like 25 riders in pretty much all of the events. And as you can see, there's some big ones in there. Some of the Americans are over. We've got the Asian riders. I think Anthony Radich is in it as well. I saw his name somewhere. I can't remember where I've seen it. But yeah, so Kylie's the only Tralee, are you meaning the World Series that you're talking about, Tralee? Is that what you're Is that what you're referring to? Or are you talking about Bailey's event? So this, if you're talking about, oh wow, okay, so this lineup's going to be even bigger than come round 2 and 3. Wow. I know the first race that Bailey was doing, yeah, Triple Series, right, okay. I know that first race that Bailey was in at Sarasota, there was 24 or 25 pro riders in it, but they also let loose another 24 amateur riders as well on the same course with a delayed start. So at some point in that event, there was like almost 50 skis running that course, which would be pretty wild and gnarly. Yeah, the P1 event, that's right, Trilly. That's the one I was talking about, yep. But yeah, so Kylie's the lone Aussie out there. So listen, she asked me to give a shout out to a couple of our main long-term sponsors, and I'm happy to oblige. Sea-Doo being one of them, and obviously Jet Tribe's the other. Without them, she says a lot of what she does is just not possible. So, happy to give a shout out to them for you, Kylie. Good luck this weekend, and I hope it all goes well for you. Fly the flag. So massive event, this one. A lot of names. There he is. I think probably the top rider at the moment is Tory. So it's quite mad. Yeah, I've never. It's just, I guess when you're in Queensland and you see smaller groups and events, and then suddenly you see something like that, your mind just goes, pew. It's just something that we're not used to. It would be great if we could get some numbers like that here. It would be fantastic, and hey, if we can work towards that, then that would be great. So so that's that. I think that's pretty much everything as far as the roundups are concerned. Now, I have one final thing I want to touch on. One thing before, I've got one little catch up that I've got to do at the end, and I believe I've kept the best for last. Not race related, touching base with someone that we know from America who has been pretty scarce on Facebook for a little while for a number of reasons. But before we move on, what I want to do is I'm wanting to just touch on, let me just get this sorted out. Where are we? Now, let me get the right screen. Yeah, there we go. All right, now guys, this before we go on to the last topic, this is something that's close to my heart. All right, registration just opened up today for the multiple sclerosis, or the MS Moonlight Walk. I'm doing it again this year. I did it last year as well, and we raised just under $3,000 as a team. I'm looking to get people to come on board and either join me in the walk, or I'm actually going to do a jet ski ride as well, which is what I did last year. I did a little video for it as well, which is actually on our YouTube channel from last year. But this year I'm going to do the same thing. So it's a 10k walk and a 100k ride. The 100k is the minimum, is what we'll do. We'll most likely end up doing a hell of a lot more than 100Ks, but that's the idea. And basically, the whole idea is just to raise awareness and understanding for people who don't really know much about multiple sclerosis and how it impacts people. Looking at me, I look fine on the outside, but inside there's a lot going on inside. And anybody who suffers from it will tell you exactly the same thing. No 2 days are the same. Every day is a different day. I could waking up tomorrow, totally different feelings and everything like that. So, I just take each day as it comes, and I have good days and I have bad days. I want to try and raise as much money as possible. I'd like to try and break the $3,000 mark if we can as a team. I've got an individual page as well, which will contribute into that team fund. And that's how everybody can join it as well. So you can either go to my personal profile, or you can join the team on this page here. I've put the link here on the page. So let me just open. Oh, where is it? I've got it somewhere. How have I lost it? I've managed to lose it somehow. It's got to be there somewhere. There it is. So, for those of you that can't see that page, I'm going to open that up. So, there's the link there for the team page. I've got my individual page on my own personal profile. But if you want to contribute or you want to join in with it, all the information is there. Just click on the links and follow the various links that you in order to get. I'm going to keep plugging this right through. The event's on the 28th of October. The jet ski ride will be that same weekend. Everybody's welcome to join me. It's not going to be an official jet ski ride for MS. I'm doing it just as an awareness ride, just to kind of add a little bit extra to it. So that's where I'm heading with that. So, like guys, if you could contribute something, I'd be really, really, indebted to you. I'd really appreciate your support and help on this. But I understand times are tough for a lot of people. Not everybody. Other people have got priorities elsewhere, and I get that. So, but even if you wanted to just do the jet ski ride with me and just to come right along, that would be really, really appreciative. So right, there we go. So that's my shameless plug. I'll get so getting near the end of the show now. We've got 54 minutes. We've done not too bad. Listen, this next section is a gentleman who is having it a bit tough at the moment. I reached out to him because I hadn't seen what he was getting up to lately. No idea how he was, where he was at, and I've been trying for a couple of weeks to get him on. And it's not a live recording, by the way. This is not live, by the way. I've had to pre-record it because of the time difference. So, 2 seconds. Yeah, I've had to pre-record this section. This last section because of the time difference. So, pre-warning everybody now, if you're tuning in, this next section is not a live section. I can still interact with comments and stuff like that, but if you're going to ask a question to the person involved, you're not going to get an answer from him because he can't answer it because it's not live. If you're wondering who it is, I'm talking about Mr. Carolinas himself, Adam Buckler. Some of you know him, some of you may not. He's been battling it pretty bad lately. He has a form of lymphoma, and he'll tell you all about it in this little recorded clip that I put together. So I'm just going to run the clip now and let everybody see what he's got. I personally think he's looking great. So here we go. I'll let this run. All right. So first of all, thank you for joining me. You want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yep. My name is Adam Buckler, and I run Carolina Ski Riders and PWC Explorers in South Carolina.
Cool. So tell us about yourself then. Apart from the clubs that you run, what's been going on with you? Apart from your health, we'll touch on your health in a moment. So
basically that's minus the health. That's what we've been doing. I mean, I've been traveling a little bit lately, getting out to see some places. I was able to spend some time on the water. We just did 2 rides. Actually, most of our rides have been in North Carolina this year because we've been focused in South Carolina a lot. We had a lot of people reach out to us. So we did some lakes and some rivers and some bay runs out in North Carolina this season. Yep. So that's pretty much been keeping us busy.
All right. And one thing I forgot to say, give me a second. I've got something that you, hang on a second.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I forgot to put it on. I meant to represent early. Hey, listen, when you sent this one over, when you posted it up on your PWC page, Billy Briggs wanted this one desperately, and I managed to get it off him before you before him, so he wasn't very happy about it. So, listen, obviously lately things haven't been going the best for you, and everybody here's obviously seen what's been going on, and just basically around the whole community globally as well that knows you. You want to explain what's actually going on with you, if you don't mind?
Yeah. Basically, it was last year, right around. I was sick for quite a few months, and in November, I was officially diagnosed with what's called mantle cell lymphoma. Basically, started out as massive swelling of my tonsils, lymph nodes all over my body, and a massive weight drop, which pulled me down to about 127, 128 pounds, and put me in the hospital. Biopsied everything, had a tracheotomy, trach installed, which is an awake trach, which was miserable. By the way, I don't recommend that at all. But
listen,
yeah,
I've had a biopsy taken. I got diagnosed with celiac a number of years ago, and they had to put the tube down my throat. And I'll kid you, like you would know yourself with a trachea, it is the most uncomfortable feeling. And you've got no control. You wonder what the hell's going on. It's just a constant blockage, or feels like a constant blockage in your throat.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're almost suffocating. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that.
No.
So we got the biopsy results back in about a day or two, which wasn't long, and I found out it was mantle cell lymphoma, which at that point I had already been researching lymphomas and cancers because I knew that I had something. We knew it was bad. Mantle cell I didn't hear of. So when the doctor called, my oncologist, it was actually my ENT who called me to tell me about it, and told me, don't Google it. That was the first thing he said. You don't want to Google it. So I knew that was bad. And I said, what do I need to do?
But you Googled it anyway.
I Googled it as soon as we hung up. And it was absolutely terrible. And the biggest reason, which I found out, I have to see a specialist for it. There's very few oncologists that can treat mantle cell lymphoma. Normal oncologists can't. So I had to find a specialist, which I was referred to. And the data that's on Google is pretty old. And if I was diagnosed with this 4 years ago, my chances of living past a year or two were slim, super, super slim. Unfortunately, this is not curable. However, it's manageable. And recent medicines have been able to do a lot for it. I went through about maybe 2.5, 3 weeks of radiation, get all the blood down in my tonsils, and then quite a few months of chemo, which tried to suppress everything. And through that time is when my weight started to come back a little bit, and I started to get a little more healthy. And now I'm going in August 1st, where I start my stem cell transplant, which will put me in the hospital for about 2 months and will put me down for probably 5 or 6 months. I'll be pretty weak and not myself. I'll be pretty sick. And I believe they said the process takes about a year to really kind of get back to normal, and that's pending everything goes as planned with no complications. So
I would assume your immune system will be shot to hell through that whole treatment.
Yeah. When they do, it'll be right around mid-August. They'll start chemo. I get chemo for 24/7 for about 6 or 7 days. And that goal before transplant is to bring me to zero. They want my immune system at complete zero. I'll have no immune system, and then they transplant it back into me, basically. So there's a lot of inherent risks with that. Obviously, a lot of things can go wrong. But at this point, we just feel that that's my best option to possibly, get this thing put away.
When you've exhausted most of the options and you've gone, you've got a limited choice of what's left, then I think anybody would do the same thing. They would just go, right, hell, let's try it. We got to try it. We got to give it a go.
Right.
So.
Right.
Oh, God willing, all going well. It certainly makes a huge difference for you. So. Yeah,
we're staying positive through it. Like I said, you could look at this, one of two ways. You could feel sorry for yourself and kind of fall in a corner and shut down, but I chose not to do that. I chose to fight this. I chose to be positive and share as much information as I can to possibly help
and
somebody.
that's what I love about it, Adam, is the fact that you've been quite open with everyone about it and speaking about what's going on with you. Because like when I first came across when you posted up what you had, I like everyone probably Googled it and find out what the goal was with it. So yeah, it's great to get information out there and make people aware of these things, because half the time nobody's got an idea what these things are until someone close to them is affected by it.
Right, and I'm in a lot of support groups for it, and I see the same thing. People post in the groups, and this disease mostly affects women and mostly people 60 years old or older. So somebody like me is a giant rarity. When somebody comes in the group that's a little bit younger, I've gone through a lot of this stuff that they're preparing to go through.
Yep.
So that's why I share and I do all this, because I share my bad times and my dark days too, because everybody's going to have them. And I want people to know that it's okay to have those, it's okay to feel bad sometimes.
Yeah.
But there's positivity in it. You could get through this. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's hard. But you'll have good days. You'll have bad days. You just really got to appreciate the good days when they're here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And when you're off the grid for the, when you go and get your stem cell treatment, you'll be off the grid obviously for a little while, but I'll guarantee your inbox is going to be massive. So be checking in to see how you're going. Wanting the best for you. Yeah, not an ideal hand to be dealt, but hey, I think you're doing pretty well so far, and I've got no doubt Lauren's keeping you well motivated.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And she'll be updating people and letting people know what's going on when I can't, and when I'm down and out, because I will be off the grid for some time for sure. Especially, I'll have almost no immune system for months, so I won't be around people. I won't be. There's a lot of things.
You're going to be in a bubble for quite a while, aren't you?
Yeah. I have to regrow everything, but yeah. I mean, we've been making the best out of it. I mean, I have, some issues from chemo that I'm dealing with that are pretty much, from what I understand, will be here the rest of my life. But it's a new normal, and you just, at this point, I'm happy to still be here and still be able to do this. So that's the way I'm looking at it.
And your loved ones around you are still happy to see you around, see you with them as well. So you take each day as it comes, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Each day is a new day, good one. So.
Okay. So listen, let's go on to jet skiing. What got you into jet skiing?
So quite a few years ago, I moved from about 6 years ago. I moved from Pennsylvania to South Carolina, and Pennsylvania's the northern United States down to the southeast United States. And I was a power sport guy my whole life, motorcycles, dirt bikes, bass boats, all kind of stuff. So got down here, had a fishing boat, which I took out a lot. And then it's just a large boat. Fuel prices got high, and it's a lot to put in and out of the water. And we couldn't really, it wasn't a quick thing, go for a run or one person. So I bought myself a 2-stroke fuel injected Sea-Doo, an old one, and took my wife out. We started riding a little bit, had a little bit of fun. And I bought a second 2-stroke for her, start riding around to kind of see if she would like it. She loved it. And from that point, we start looking to find groups. We wanted to find somebody to ride with, just to have a little bit more fun. We didn't see any organized anything going on here, and came across Florida Ski Riders.
Yep.
So I wound up selling the 2-strokes, bought a 4-stroke, and we went down, did a ride with them. I think the ride we did with them was the Egmont Key ride, I believe, which the one I was at, I think, was the one with like 500 and some skis. It was crazy.
How was the wash?
So,
How was the wash in a wake?
I'll say it. And I was newer to jet skiing too at that point. So I was in the middle of 500 jet skis trying to figure out how not to see the thing. It was wild. But, you learn to keep your distance and kind of stay to the back. Everybody was trying to get to the front to be on GoPro or whatever. I was like, nope, I'm going to be in the back.
That's the thing. I remember when the first year we did the Santa Claus ride down the Gold Coast, we had nothing like what the Florida riders had. I think we had about 140, I think it was, maybe around about that, something like that. I can't remember, but the wake, I was about the third row back. We had to stay in a certain number. I think it was three at the front, and then it was just three all the way back. So I remember sitting in the third row from the front, and everyone's coming up from the back because they're all wanting to get up front and get their GoPro footage. And and the wash was just absolutely nuts.
Terrible.
And I ended up just dropping right back. Yeah, I just dropped right back.
Yeah. That's what I do too. It's not worth it. I mean, it's just nuts. People learn pretty quick to keep their distance. You see them turn, and then the wake pushes them a different direction. They're like, okay, I need to back off.
Those Florida groups are massive groups, though. They're really big. Like that last one they did at the Dunedin Causeway was 400 skis, like $4 million worth of skis or something like that was what Randy posted up, and like that's insane amount.
Yeah,
of
and
skis.
I think Florida's the biggest state, the biggest jet ski state here. I mean, their weather's a little bit better than South Carolina. It stays warmer a lot longer down there, so I mean the jet ski community is massive. It's getting bigger in the Carolinas, but in Florida, it's huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah.
We've traveled, like I said too, but
how far's Dunedin from where you are?
It's about 10 hours, 10 hours.
Right. Okay.
To get down there. Yeah.
It's about a
which
drive
we've done.
then, eh?
It's a drive, and when we go, Michael Nichols of Shorelock lives down there, so we usually meet up with him and usually stay with him or do something. And we've ridden the springs down there. They're crystal clear water that you run through, which is really cool. They have a lot of unique springs.
Is that the little kind of river that they've got that's got waterfalls and stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah, they have Silver Glen Springs and then the Rainbow River. We have the waterfalls here are Lake Jocassee. They're in South Carolina. That's on a lake. There's like 14 waterfalls or so on that lake.
Right.
It's a big ride we do here. We do that ride here. Jet Rider Nation did a ride out there this year. They took a bunch of people out there. Beautiful lake, crystal clear water there too. And you can ride the skis under the waterfalls, behind the waterfalls. It's pretty cool, pretty unique.
Have you got gators there?
Not Lake Jocassee, but here in South Carolina where I am, they're everywhere. Yep. At Myrtle Beach and Conway, they're all over the place. Yep. Yeah, they're a standard sight when we go out. They're all over the river.
Listen, I remember a couple of years ago watching a video of somebody, I don't know who it was, riding along the river, and all the gators were on the side of the riverbank, and the gators were running, were trying to jump in as they were riding past.
That's probably the Kissimmee River in Florida.
Yeah,
the Kissimmee River in Florida, Gator Central. We did a ride down there on the Kissimmee, and they make our gators here look tiny.
So
These things are massive.
You call it Kissimmee. I actually call it Kissimmee.
Yeah, people pronounce it a bunch of different ways, but yeah, I call it I don't even know the actual pronunciation, but yeah, I call it Kissimmee.
I've went there for a few years myself when I've been going to Disney and stuff like that in Orlando, and I've always called it Kissimmee. But when you guys started calling it Kissimmee, it was like, I didn't even know if it was. I thought it was a different place actually at first you were talking about.
Oh yeah. And I do that. Yeah, that's just what everybody.
I must have missed that one somewhere.
Yeah.
So you were obviously out just recently. Some kind of one of your group members had organised a ride, I think, to help for your benefit, wasn't it?
Yeah. Chad Tubbs kind of put it on, and Joe is another guy that has been really helpful in putting this event on. And he actually started a group based off of us, basically called Eastern NC Ski Riders. He does a lot of stuff now out on the eastern side of North Carolina, which is he's part of us. But they put on an event. They wanted to do something for me to kind of see me off, going into this. And at the event, I actually met a gentleman who had recently lost his wife to cancer. And I believe that was his first time back in that area on the water since it had happened. And, it was pretty emotional for him and for me too. And he was just happy to see me at this point, feeling a little bit better to be able to get out on the water and enjoy some time with everybody. So turned out to be a good event. I got to kind of take a back seat to this one and just go enjoy myself and ride, and they organized everything.
Yeah, I've got to say, Adam, you're looking a hell of a lot better than some of the images that I've seen you in the past. So you're tracking in the right direction, but I've got no doubt that these next couple of months are going to probably have quite an effect on you.
Yeah.
So, listen, you've got a loving wife. You got kids, don't you? You got a couple of kids, don't you?
No kids. Nope,
No
just my
kids?
wife and I.
You
No
got
kids.
dogs?
Yep. Okay, cats.
Oh, 2 cats. Are you a cat person, are you?
Yeah.
Well, I've got 2 dogs. It drives
Yeah.
me It drives me nuts. Drive me nuts.
Hey, the cats.
Listen, you've
too.
got a loving wife who's there. Who's going to be by your side every step of the way.
Yeah.
That's the one that will keep you going. I know that my wife did the same for me when I was going through my MS stuff.
Yeah.
So listen, before you go, you want to have a shout out to anyone?
Definitely my wife for supporting me through all this. The entire Jetski community, Chad Tubbs, Joe, Mike Nichols, Shorelock. These guys have really stepped up to do a lot for me. I guess I could go on and name a lot of names, but the community as a whole for sure. And, somebody else I actually forgot about, my doctor, actually, Dr. Greenwell, who's a specialist at MUSC where I'm getting treated, who's been great through this and really guided me in the right direction, really taking care of me. So he definitely deserves some props for this because, he's helped figure out which way to go. My family, my sister, she lives in California. She came out for a few months to kind of help me get through chemo and give my wife a break.
I saw that as well. That's awesome. Well, hats off to your sister.
She was out. Yeah, her and my brother came out. My parents came as well. My wife's parents came for a little bit. My brother and sister stayed the longest to kind of just, to make sure they were there while all this was happening. So I've had a ton of support through this, which has made it a little bit easier for sure.
One quick question for you. How's Lauren doing? Is she all right?
She's doing good. I mean, it hits her like a ton of bricks. And, she has her own struggles and stuff with it. She's strong. She's really, really strong. She's doing it. But, sometimes she's afraid to talk about some of this with me because she knows what I'm dealing with. So, it's good and bad, but she's getting through it. It's difficult for both of us.
The awkward thing is, as a male, we know that they're going through it. They try not to show it to you, though.
Right, absolutely.
They try not to show it to you. But they have their moments, there's no doubt about it. And it's understandable, totally understandable.
Right, absolutely,
so,
right.
Listen, mate, I wish you all the best. You and Lauren, because you're obviously both going to be going through it, but you the most, obviously. We wish you all the best with your treatment that's coming up. And we'll definitely be keeping an eye on what you're getting, what's happening with you.
Absolutely. I'll update
everyone
you
here in
guys
Australia is rooting for you.
Thank you very much.
Although I don't know if I'm not sure if rooting's the right word because here in Australia it means something completely different.
Does it?
And it's not a nice thing either. So, hey, listen, we're all cheering for you anyway. So we want the best for you, and you're always welcome down here. There's a load of people here that are going to be welcoming you here with open arms, and they'll put you up and look after you and make sure you have a great time here. So, hey, listen, we'll see you on the other side. Okay?
Absolutely.
So
right.
we'll get you over here sooner rather than later.
That's the plan. As soon as I'm better, I'll be over.
All right, Adam. Listen, for you and Lauren, all the best and take care, mate.
All right. Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right. See ya.
See ya.
Yeah, so there we go. Adam Buckler, obviously awaited to go in for his stem cell treatment soon. I think he said he's a couple of weeks away from it happening. So listen, I wish him all the best, and I know everybody here that knows him are rooting for him and cheering for him and wanting nothing but the best for him and Lauren. So yeah, I hope it really works out well for him, and we get him here in Australia and let him see what we've got on our doorstep around here. So listen, guys, we're done for the night. Next week's show is actually going to go out on a Tuesday night, not a Wednesday. Our guest next week, we're having Australia's own jet ski nomad, Mr. George Marquis, and he's going to come on, and we're going to discuss his recent adventures in America. And I've got no doubt he's got plenty to speak about. Yeah, Sean, I'm going to keep plugging that every week just to kind of keep reminding people to the point where they'll be sick of it, most likely. Listen, I just want to raise awareness of it and raise as much as I can to help the charity out. So it's not just about research, it's about supporting those that suffer it and those that support the sufferers as well. So, and information. So guys, listen, next week, remember, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, and we'll see you next Tuesday. I thank you all for tuning in, and I think I've had a pretty decent show, and I believe saving Adam for the end, I think, was the best option. Kept the best for last. So all the best to everyone. Have a great week. Stay safe. Hopefully see you out on the water. Take care.